Welcome to We the People. It's clear that the face of parenthood in India is changing and changing dramatically through these guidelines being enforced through a proper series of legislation. We can't just take it up. What if the surrogate mother refuses? What if the surrogate mother dies? What happens if the child is deformed? What happens if the mother says, I don't want to give birth to the children now after a contract? I mean, there are various conflicts. Most of the countries in the world are struggling with it. We have to realize that we have to have a proper legislation in place.
Okay, you've laid out some of those questions. I need to go into a break. We're going to come back to our panel. But before we go into a break, just to get a sense of the audience here, never totally accurately representative, but a slice of public opinion. Those of you who think that surrogate motherhood is entirely a legitimate way forward for childless couples and a desirable way forward, please raise your hands. An overwhelming majority, despite the doubts, there's a whole religious angle as well. Many Muslim countries don't permit this. The Christians will have a...
That is the reason.
Okay, let's just hear her and then you can respond. Yes, yes.
You see, a woman, when she agrees to rent her womb or to loan out her womb for carrying somebody else's baby, is not making a very informed decision, because during her pregnancy, her body, her mind, her psychology evolves in a manner which only a mother who's carried a child will understand. And you know, if you're saying before your pregnancy that you're ready to rent your womb for bearing somebody's child, your mental status, your psychology at the time of delivery is entirely different.
Okay.
You have traversed a whole gamut of
I think you've made an important point. You're asking, why is this different? Just a minute. Is there someone here in the audience who has actually gone through this? Somebody who is childless and has tried IVF or surrogate parenthood? Or somebody who would? Since you all raised your hands and said you support it, is there anybody here who would if they had to?
I think surrogacy is not a bad option at all. First of all, we should get rid of the idea that money is a bad thing. In today's society, for a person to be given the rights to eat food and live and have a place to stay is equated with money only. You cannot do it in any other way. Plus, if surrogacy was an option, I'd easily do it, because as Mr. Amit said, the right of procreation is there to every biological organism, not just to a human. Go even basically to an amoeba, to a bacterium, it is there. How can we deny it to us, the most evolved creature at now?
Okay, but I want to ask one of the two doctors, and I'm just going to get you on the whole adoption angle. But before that, either of Dr. Hinduja or Dr. Mazumdar, why is this different from the organ trade? Why is this different from the organ trade? Go ahead, ma'am.
The reason is that when you are doing a tissue, it's a tissue implantation different. The uterus carries the pregnancy for 9 months, and that woman, I have to answer to this lady, she's not being forced. She's doing it because she's knowing that she would carry it, she will go through this trouble, she will deliver the baby. In return, if I'm getting the money, doesn't matter to it. So probably if it is any tissue which you are donating, you're minus that tissue.
Okay, Pinky, go ahead, Pinky.
In fact, today you're having all these major battles.
Silence, please, ma'am. Someone's speaking here. Yeah.
There's been a major battle, in fact, in this exact issue, because there's a British lady who agreed to be a surrogate mother for an American couple. While she had conceived, she had twins, and then the American couple didn't want the twins, so they asked her to terminate. She refused to terminate. So now we're having this whole battle going on between both these parents, the intended parents and the surrogate mother. In Britain, the surrogate mother has all the rights. In America, it is the intending parents.
What happens to a human person? Are we just divorcing everything of what humanity is all about?
Why is it an absence of humanity? In some ways, if I were to flip the argument around, Amit Banerjee is a deeply humane person. He has decided that even as a single father, he is going to bring up a child.
I want to come back to Amit's case. I want to come back to
Yes.
How can Amit decide that there can be a child only by himself? There cannot be a child without the
help of two women and a doctor. So it wasn't.
Precisely. How did he do it?
Is the problem that he didn't take the help of God? Is that we're looking beyond immaculate conception, Father?
No, the actual process of a man and woman coming together, which is how we have all come into existence. That's how creation is.
Yes.
And he is trying to now act God.
Okay.
And create by himself.
Hang on.
Just a second.
Place. He has a support system. He's talking about a mother and father and sister.
Okay.
And so he could have looked at it as an option.
And that would be more human.
Yes.
And that would be more human. You want to say something? Yeah, go ahead.
Let me put it like this. I am Dr. Gupta, practicing infertility in Delhi for 12 years. We have delivered almost like maybe 100 surrogates in Delhi. Maybe it was not accepted lawfully or unlawfully, but we felt it is right of the person to carry and to procreate.
Why not adopt?
No, they normally, what patients we get for IVF management, they 25% of them, they have adopted babies, but still they want to have the baby of their own. What do you tell them?
But you know,
Okay, it's a once again, the lady here wants to.
Very much a psychological need for the person to have one's own baby. Right from the beginning, a woman thinks that I should have my own baby.
But tell me, if that baby is not carried in your own womb, is it really yours?
Well, of course, if not mine, then my husband's at least. Then somebody, if the baby belongs to one of us, I am very attached to my husband. And the baby...
So tomorrow if your husband goes and has a relationship with some other woman and says, here I brought a baby home, that's okay with you?
Okay, it's fine. He gave me as my husband.
Okay, let's, one second. There are other comments here. Yes. Yes.
As somebody who treats male infertility,
Yes.
you know, as we said, though it can be within a married couple or a couple living together, but about 1 in 5 of these intending parents do not manage to do it, which is why we need to support them. And to have genetically your own children for both biological parents, the ideal option is surrogacy. The fear of what might be misused is making us go away from it.
Nobody's answering what I'm saying. Why not adoption? Is it just a psychological
Again,
need that
you
can't
see, adoption as a possible method is acceptable to many of us.
Yes.
But on the other hand, if there is a potential for having your own biological child, it is common human nature to believe that it should be done.
You're hearing all this. The fact is that many of us are so cynical, we don't actually believe that tomorrow if somebody could actually get a poor woman in a village or their maid, that happens a lot of time. People use their domestic help as surrogate wombs. What are your concerns?
See, what my concern is no one is talking about is patriarchy. And we're not talking about before the surrogacy. What is the ideal prototype of a surrogate mother? Before you just open your morning paper and see the matrimonial section, what kind of women you want as brides. So, for example, we're talking about Amit. He has taken pains to have 2 people so that no one person can claim that I am the mother, give me money. There are 2 aspects here. The socio-economic condition of the person who's going to donate. Now the doctor is saying someone in a local trainer said, come, I'll be a mother. This seems to be very, very out of the ordinary. Unlike blood trade, unlike blood donation and unlike kidney donation, this area is totally unregulated. And we are talking about a country where so many people are below the poverty line.
Okay, now before, I know Dr. Hinduja actually has a flight to catch, so I'm going to give her the platform right now before we let her catch her flight.
First of all, I want to say adoption and IVF are 2 different things. You cannot mix 2 things together. You cannot equate or you cannot do it. Adoption is the one which are abandoned children lying in orphanage. That you cannot force on the 25% of the couple who is unable to produce.
Okay, but why is it different from the organ trade if you allow money to trade hands? How do we know that women will not be exploited? Poor women will not be exploited.
Of course they will be exploited. Where I'm saying no,
then
they would be exploited.
And why is that okay?
Therefore we have to make a proper laws and regulations that prevent such things which has happened in kidney donation before.
Okay, so you're saying regulated, don't stop it.
Yes.
But one final
from kidney donation
final question. When should the child be told the identity? Because according to the ICMR guidelines, right now the child is deliberately not told the identity of both mothers.
It is identity. You can keep it as a secret because we really do not know what sort of a mental they will face in the future. Certainly identity has to be disclosed in future in case there are some complications, like they require some tissue, they require some blood transfusion, they require some stem cell transfusion.
If there is a complication
Therefore,
in the childbirth, ma'am,
yes,
who is responsible for the well-being of this poor woman?
Genetic parents.
Genetic parents.